So mean. I could actually see her dancing over off to the side on a different
Oh,
window.
you can see me dancing?
I could see you clipping your fingers. You're like, oh god, that was hilarious.
See, that's funny. I didn't know you could see me because it's showing me the intro.
Yeah, but I could see you over here.
Don't ever record that and play it either.
Well, it is recorded.
Oh, great.
I'm gonna have to go play that later because I only can see the fingers clicking.
Yeah, I love our intro. It's so good. That's why.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
That's why. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just trying to get through there. The economy is so shitty right now. It's just like this crazy kind of bleeds into everything.
Absolutely. It's bad.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll get fixed in the next election, everybody. All right, so the let's see. What about you? I mean, just so much crap going on out there.
Yeah. I mean, my dog ate my door frame, which delayed Gray and I a day. The new dog ate the door frame, including the weatherproofing. He's a very strong little 5-month-old dog. So there's that. And I'm waiting on my new fish tank.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything is all right.
Sweet.
Knock on glass or something. Yeah, Tommy Boy did it. He's the one.
Yeah. So we're going to be, I guess, reading a transcript with Cecil. He was he a sheriff at the time? Now I don't remember all the details, but he drove out there. Yeah. He was at the scene.
Smith.
And so we're going to have him on, the transcript. We're going to go read it. I'm going to be Cecil.
Right. You are going to be Cecil, and I'm going to be Art and Maggie, who are the people interviewing him. So he didn't do very many interviews. So these were sent to us by a lady who really covers this case very closely. So she was sweet enough to send them along. So we're gonna read them for you. It gives you some insight a bit because you may or may not know in the Maura Murray case, Cecil became somebody who was really closely looked at. And then when we get further down the road here, you'll see what ultimately ends up happening. But he was a very important person in this case.
Do you think we'll have time to go through both of the...
We might. If we do well, we might. Yeah. Maybe. If not, we can tomorrow too.
Okay. Well, here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
Into character. Come on, Gray. All right, here I go. I'm going to be Art, okay?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, sir.
Art Roderick. Good to meet you, Cecil. Hi, Maggie. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Jeff, good to see you again. We don't know who Jeff is, so
thanks for
meeting with us. I'm Maggie Crazy. I'm everybody in your Cecil.
I know. I was weird. It's like I was just I don't know why I did that.
I know you're just reading.
It must be why I got to tell her. Hey, listen.
It's always fun when Gray and I do these because we're a mess.
No, just listen. See, I have this mouse, right? Yeah, I mean, this is the weirdest thing. It was literally, I think there's ghosts, all right? So I don't know if it's either something going on with my brain or what, but there was this mouse right here, and it's on right in the middle of my mouse pad, okay? Then I was looking at my mouse pad, and it was empty, so I was like, where the hell is my mouse? So I have these other two mice over here, and I put one on it to try to move it around to see if, I go, that's not really... So I go to the kitchen looking for it. I come back, and my original mouse is sitting right in the middle of the mouse pad, and both the other two mice are sitting off to the side. So I don't know what happened there. That's just one of those things I can't rationally explain what just happened.
It's the mice ghosts.
Yeah. That was weird. Okay, so anyway, back
Cecil was the sheriff in town. Just so everybody's aware, he was the first one to show up on the scene, allegedly. So, all right. So we're at thanks for meeting with us. And then Emil says, good to see you again. And and the crew is there and all of that. So we're about to get down past the crew, all of that stuff, them sneezing, whatever.
Wow, he's like
Yeah, let's get
for a long
past
time.
all of this. We might get through this a lot faster because it's just random
Okay.
junk here. Okay, so Maggie says it's highlighted in orange. Where are you compared to where I am? Oh, I'll put it on the floor for you next time.
I'm on page 6.
Okay, so scroll down to where Cecil said. There you go. Okay, so you were the first person on the scene at Maura's accident, and a lot of people have brought you up. We wanted to have you here to just clear the air for yourself. We would love to start with your history in law enforcement and just in your career.
Okay, I had a career in the military before, law enforcement. In 1995, I became a police officer, and same drill everyone else does. Go to the academy, work your way up through the ranks, and when this incident occurred, I was the sergeant of the Haverhill Police Department. So,
great. So we want to go over the basics of the timeline of that night. What do you remember? When did you get the call? What did you hear over dispatch?
I was dispatched to a report of a car accident near the Weathered Barn, and I was probably around 7:30 at night. I was on the 3 to 11 shift, so I was the only officer on, so I responded to the call.
Were you at another call before that, or?
I don't recall.
Okay, so when you arrived on the scene, what did you remember seeing?
I was approached, as I approached the scene, there was a 90-degree corner. I came around the corner and there was this black vehicle in my lane facing me. I could see tire impressions from going from the road to 4 o'clock. I don't know what that means, but a group of trees, and then back to the vehicle that was at final rest. I activated my takedown lights. They're like spotlights on your light bar, and you can see everything in the area, and there was no one around the vehicle. So I went first to the first 911 caller, the Westman house, said, "Where's the girl?" He said, "We don't know, and nobody's here, so we don't know. We haven't seen anything." And nobody leave. What's the time thing there?
I think those are just timestamps in the interview that people were using. You can just ignore those.
Okay. And nobody leave, they said. So they didn't see anybody leave. They didn't know where Maura was or anything. Okay. And then it says, "I went to talk to Mr. Atwood. He said I just talked to her a couple minutes ago. She's right there at the car." I said, "No, she's not there." He described her for me. He said, "It's a pretty young lady and shoulder-length brown hair. She was the only one I saw." I said, did she look like she was hurt? Because when I made a quick check of the vehicle, both airbags were deployed and there was a crack on the windshield driver's side. He said, "Nah, she looked shaken up but didn't look hurt. But I think she'd been drinking because she slurred her speech and she had to lean on something while she was standing there." She said, I asked her if she wanted me to call, or, he's saying that, wanted me to call the police. "Nope. No, please don't call the police," she told me. And as soon as he left there, he went and apparently made another 911 call, which for some reason went through to Hanover dispatch and took a lot longer to get back to me than what normally would have taken. So that's kind of interesting. So that's what I saw when I first go there, and the vehicle was locked.
It was locked? When did you find the rag in the tailpipe?
I don't remember exactly. It was the initial inspection around the vehicle, or if it was when it was going up onto the flatbed. I don't remember.
You said that there were tire impressions. Were these skid marks?
Let's see. I'm supposed to clear my throat. Okay. I don't know how to do it. No, you could see where the car had come around that corner,
Right.
missed it, and gone straight into the trees, and then spun around.
Okay.
And there was front end damage to the vehicle also.
But there were skid marks across the road because we've heard she might have hit the inside of that corner a little bit.
No, the road was bare. There was a lot of snow on the ground.
Right.
Maybe a foot or so. The road was bare. There were no skid marks. There was just tire impressions in the snow
Okay.
that went from the tar to those trees and then back around to where the vehicle was facing me.
Okay. And is this common? At the time, were you responding to the calls of abandoned vehicles with no driver at it?
I was about to do a maniacal laugh, but I won't do it. You ask any policeman that's been a patrol officer more than 3 days, and I'll bet you they will tell you they've been to an accident, gone to a scene. There's an accident here, found a vehicle with beer cans all over the place, nobody around. The next day, somebody will show up at the station and say, "Did you guys find my car? It was parked in my driveway last night." Yeah, sure it was. It's right where you crashed it last night. I totally get what he's saying. Yeah.
Were you at all concerned thinking there was a girl who maybe was drinking out in the cold?
So when there's a car crash, the dispatch normally automatically sends the fire department and EMS. And I asked, called the dispatch office, and I said, "Could you tell me the responding units to keep their eyes out for a cute 5'7" lady with shoulder length hair, because she was apparently driving the car and she's not around." Like, it's funny that they have to say cute, right? Like, if there's an ugly woman walking around, pass her right up.
Yeah.
While I was waiting for other people to arrive on the scene, like the flatbed, I did walk up and forward on I east. It would have been, what does that say? I east? I don't know what that means. It would have been checking both sides of the road. I saw no indication that anybody went across the snow. Came back down the other side of the road, checked there, past Butch's house, Westman, and then back across. Granted, I didn't get to a great distance, but I did check in the immediate area, and I saw no indication that somebody had gone through the snow.
What did you make of Butch when you spoke to him?
I didn't speak to him very long. I just probably less than a minute, I would say. And I didn't know him before, so.
And what kind of vehicle were you in?
Let's see. I was the Explorer 4x4, and the reason that would have been, it was around this time of year, winter.
Right.
February snow on the ground. Our town is 50 square miles, and there's probably a couple hundred miles of roads. Some of them, there's three main roads, but most of them are rural roads. And if you ever driven off on a dirt road in the winter time, they become bare.
They don't become bare.
They don't become bare. Oh yeah, let's see. They don't become bare like the tar. That they're icy, and normally, if you're on duty by yourself in the wintertime, in those conditions, you take the 4x4 because it's been stuck in cruiser before, alone on a shift, and you only do that once, and then you take the 4x4.
So you were in an SUV that night?
Why, yes, SUV, the Explorer, correct.
And have you heard the theory that there was another officer on the scene before you? The report by witness A.
I've heard of that, but there was no one there when I got on the scene.
Do you remember what route you took to get to Maura?
Yes.
Because she said that an SUV number 001 passed her 2 times.
That's possible. Where did they pass her?
I think it was on Swiftwater Road coming out of Woodsville.
Okay.
Area.
That makes perfect sense, okay? if this is my town,
Right.
it's 10 miles long, 5 miles wide. Route 10 follows the Connecticut River,
Right.
north and south, okay? And then at the far northern end, Route 112, and I've been told you drove on that.
Right.
That's a state road, so the fastest way to get there, it's in this far northeast corner, is to go down Route 10 to 112. Having grown up there, I also know that if you go all the way to where Route 10 and 112 intersect,
Right.
you're just going to add another couple miles to your trip, because you can go up past our hospital, which is Swiftwater Road.
Hmm.
And then maybe a mile or so, there's a small road, Sawyer Hill Road, that drops down and connects back up with 112. That's the route I took.
Hmm.
For several reasons. Number one, you might have noticed when you're out, there's frost heaves out there. What's that?
Mm-hmm.
One or two.
Yeah. Yes, we did notice that. That's a rough road.
So yeah, so you can't. I was going code 3, but I wasn't going. I mean 4x4 on with those roads. So if I don't know where she saw me first, but if she saw me on Swiftwater Road,
Yeah.
and did any of that make sense to you? Like it just was going.
No,
nowhere.
nothing he just said made any sense. He seemed to be talking in a circle,
Yeah, it was kind of like he wasn't really. He was referring to
saying the
another
route he
car.
took exactly. Just say the route you took.
Yeah, and also, did he have
Because
001?
witness A says he drove past her and then he turned around and passed her again
Yeah.
right before she drove past that particular scene, and he was in the 4x4. And
But he's not
they've
001.
tried to discredit witness A quite a bit.
But I thought he wasn't 001 either.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he should have went, well, that wasn't me, so I don't know who that, instead he went on, well, that makes sense, because, I don't know, that was crazy. Anyway.
Right.
And where'd she see me the next time? I think up by
up by French Pond, just down from the Swiftwater way station.
Okay, well, that's perfect, because there's another sharp corner right there.
Right.
And yeah, if you could have beat me up that intersection, yes, I would have passed right by that.
Okay. Wow. So when you arrived at the accident scene, you parked
Nose.
like nose to nose.
Yes.
And then you put your lights on, obviously.
Correct.
And at that point did you call in immediately? You're off at the scene. I'm calling.
I don't remember, because once I got there and I didn't see anybody in the scene, I might have hopped out to see if somebody was hurt in the bushes. So I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know. I had just spoken to them dispatch before I got off to make sure that the accident was in fact Haverhill, because the bath line is 100 to 200 feet from where that accident is.
Right.
You probably saw that.
So what does that mean, the bath line is?
It means if that accident was on the other side of that post, that would have been the state police would have had to take that scene instead of me.
Okay. And did a state trooper swing by there?
I believe, yeah. Monaghan was there, yep.
And what was your interaction with Chief Monaghan?
Oh, he was a state trooper, sir.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Right. Oh, that's right. He's a chief now. Yeah. He asked me if I needed any help, and I said, if you could just check down the road to see if that girl's out walking around somewhere. And I believe he went east towards Lincoln and checked that part of 112. I'm not sure, because I had firemen also. I mean, I didn't direct him. You go that road, you go check this, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I said, can you go just look around for this girl? And that's about it. I don't talk to him very long.
And the neighbor, Butch, he also went out to search?
Yes, he did.
What did you make of that?
A small town like that, I not much tell you the truth. I not much tell you. I mean, sorry. I feel like we're reading the Delphi one again with the crazy.
Because of the way they talk, I know.
Yeah,
I mean, they
totally.
really put in every and but
Yeah.
for an accurate transcript.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to, if I hit Jeff's foot, I'm not going to talk about that. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they know I'm one officer in 50 square miles. My nearest backup is the state police, who Monaghan happened to be in the area and he responded. But other than that, it's just me. So lots of times citizens will offer to help you out.
Yeah, a lot of people said it seemed like he was maybe establishing an alibi, driving up and down the road or something like that.
You know, that didn't even occur to me at the time because, like I said, when I see a vehicle crash and I see alcohol spilled on the inside of the vehicle, an open vehicle, open container, I'm thinking that this person doesn't want to get arrested and I'll see them tomorrow.
Did you ever get the car doors of that vehicle open that night?
I did not, no.
And I mean, you mentioned alcohol. How did you come to that conclusion?
I could see when I looked in the vehicle, I could see, besides the airbags deployed and all that, I could see something red had been splashed on the driver's side door. That doesn't seem like you would just assume that was alcohol.
Could have been fruit punch or Kool-Aid. How do you, what?
Yeah. And then I also saw something splashed on the ceiling of the vehicle. And if you have something in your hand and you hit a tree with your car and you went, I couldn't tell you what it is, but I could make an educated guess that it was wine from the box of wine that was sitting behind the driver's seat. And I can also make an educated guess that it was wine because when that vehicle was towed off the scene on a flatbed,
Right.
underneath the car on top of the snow was a Coke bottle with some red liquid in it that smelled like alcohol beverage. So that might be why after he found that, he can go back and assume, that kind of makes sense a little bit there.
Did anything about the scene strike you as odd when you first arrived?
Not really. No, I mean, 90-degree corner when the accident was, and the vehicle was, not a lot of damage, but the vehicle was there, locked, which to me, that's probably the major odd thing about it. Normally, they don't lock their car before they take off, other than that it was just a normal scene, except the driver wasn't there.
Are there many accidents on that corner?
Yeah.
No, that's not you.
Oh. I thought, yeah, that seems like the right answer, though, right?
It did, right?
Then,
but read his answer.
Yeah, I'll see. I don't know the answer to that, sir. I know there's a lot of accidents in the town of Haverhill.
Right.
But
that's a hairpin corner.
It is, yes.
That is, we forgot to ask at the beginning, how long were you part of the Haverhill PD?
At the time, I was in my 9th year, and I was a sergeant, so...
Yeah. And you eventually...
became the chief.
Rose to the rank of chief.
Yes, sir, right.
So you're familiar with the area.
Yeah.
So looking back 13 years later, and knowing now this person has been missing that long, Maura's been missing 13 years. Is there anything you look back on and wish maybe you had done differently or had been done differently, period?
With that, I knew of the scene. No. Now I wish I could have called out everybody.
Yeah.
And done a search like they did. The troopers did a month or a couple weeks later with 100 guys. But at the time, no. That was some, like I said, that's something that every patrol officer has seen, I'm sure.
There was also speculation about how long it took for the report to be written.
The accident report?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an easy one to answer.
Okay.
Well, you were a law enforcement guy, right?
I know.
So
I think pretty well we have the answer to that question, but
Oh, is that where it is? So I still have in my bag, if you want to see it, it's a little leather notebook that I had when I was a police officer. And when you get there, you'll say car into tree, and you know tire impressions in the snow and locked. And you scribble all those in there. And then when it calms down, you take your pictures. Nowadays, I guess they have computers that you can do that right from the car.
Right.
Back in the olden days, that's what you had. So yeah. Then when you get a chance, you put that into your accident report, and that can take however long. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
well, how long did you? Was it
Yeah, no, I mean, that to me,
a week?
it was 6 days.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, that's not a amount of time
Well, right, and if
if you're running call to call.
right, and then you're yeah, also one guy on duty.
Right.
And the next day, I spent most of the day or that shift following up with people on that incident. So,
And with the accident report, a lot of people point out that the rag in the tailpipe is not mentioned on the accident report.
it's not in the accident report, but that accident report refers to an incident report that attached to that, and that does.
There was a reference to a
Right, I mean, because the accident report just,
yeah,
it's just a,
a form, yeah.
like when you go to the doctor's office, it's name, date, and we're here for that, we're here for, and then he got the big report behind it that shows all the times.
Hmm.
Things he did, yeah.
What else you got? I mean, do you have any thoughts at all as to what possibly happened to her, to Maura?
I don't. None at all. I mean, all I know is I never laid eyes on her.
Hmm.
Um,
You ever talk to the family, any of the family members?
Fred, I did. The next day I contacted, well, I had to do several police departments, Weymouth and Hanson.
Weymouth.
Whatever. Hanson, I'm going to say mouth. Okay, just like you said, all those other
You got to
freaking
say it with the
Boston.
Massachusetts. It's Weymouth, Hanson,
Let's go. Hanson,
Haverhill.
Weymouth. Okay. Get contact information.
Haverhill.
Fred and Maura. Like it. I'm in Oregon. We speak like exactly how it's supposed to be, not with the crazy accents from all over the place. All right. Get contact information for Fred and Maura's mother, Lori. I talked to both of them. Fred, I didn't reach him until later that day because he'd been working in Connecticut, and he called me back and I explained to him. And he said, well, she had an accident a couple days ago. She's all depressed. She might have done the old squall like, what was that? Well, you're depressed and you talked about it before on your hikes, and you go out in the woods, you stop off the trail and you die. Like, and then he laughs. Hello? I'm not sure what that means. So,
What did you make of that?
I don't. Well, that sort of matches what, kind of like I was thinking originally was that she got in that one accident. She was already embarrassed and upset about that one. Then all of a sudden now she's drinking and gets in another one, if that's the case. And then she just wandered off. But I don't really get this part about where he chuckled, or this part here at the end. You go out in the woods, you step off the trail and you die. And then do you even know what that means? Hello, so?
Yeah, so how he's saying it is like this. She might have done the old squall. Like, what? What's that? Well, you're depressed and we talk about it before on our hikes. You go out in the woods, you step off the trail, you die. Like, hello.
I mean, I thought maybe that's the way he was saying hello, but why would an adult that old say that? I mean, he's like,
I don't know.
I mean, that's something that we do now. Like, I mean, because I don't know. Jeez, forget it.
I don't know. I don't buy that either, though, because he had a state trooper, he had the fire people, he had Butch, he had himself, and he said very clearly there were no footprints going into the snow. So
Well,
he wondered,
really
he asked himself, did she wander off into the snow? but she didn't. So,
Yeah, but he didn't say he was absolutely sure. He said he kind of walked around little spots, didn't go that far. Kind of, he didn't sound like he did an in-depth search for footprints.
probably
The
not.
way that was worded, but either way,
So, what did you make of that?
I mean, just that.
Not you.
Oh, I thought you.
Maggie's asking
Oh, I thought
him.
you were asking me that before too, because that is something that was kind of weird. But anyways, that Fred knew something I didn't know about Maura and her mental state, I guess. And when I talked to her sister Kathleen the same day, he told me pretty much the same thing. Maura had an accident with her father's car while she'd been drinking. The weekend before, she got mad at Fred, got another car, and took off. Left Massachusetts, and we think she went in the woods and hid and took a bunch of sleeping pills, and we both think she's dead.
Kathleen said that?
Kathleen, and so now I had the sister and father both telling me that she might be dead. That's when I got serious, yeah, and I think that's probably about the time we asked for help from the state police
Hmm.
and Fish and Game. I know we contacted for a search. I don't remember the troopers. It might have been Trooper Hubbard or maybe even Chuck West. I don't know, but that's when we figured there's probably something more to this. So,
Now 13 years later, do you still believe suicide could have been something that happened to her?
I guess anything's possible. I don't know, but if her father and her sister think so, I guess.
I mean, but you did this an immediate search of the area and you couldn't see any indication at all
No.
of her walking up
Nope.
into the woods.
Nope. Uh, that that's correct. Yeah.
What do you think about all the attention this case has garnered?
Where are
You're
you?
supposed to be laughing now.
Yeah, I did. I was already laughing.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I was
I
laughing
mean, it's
earlier.
really one of the most high profile,
Right.
at least internet cases.
Right. And yeah, I'm basically what Mr. West. A lot of people sitting around looking at the internet, like, oh yeah, that could have happened. Yeah, an alien. Hey, I love this guy, Cecil. Yes, an alien could have come and grabbed her.
Wow.
Sure. I haven't heard that yet, but probably. Man, you gotta love this guy.
No, I'm not fond of Cecil. But go ahead.
I'm done with that.
Oh, it's out there. We've heard that.
Oh, it is? Sorry to ruin your input. But yeah, so you have to run them all down, and luckily for me, I only had it for a week or so before this. There was so much of that. There was so much uproar from Fred, for the FBI, and everybody else to get involved, that the state police volunteered to take it.
Why do you feel lucky about that?
I guess I didn't have to put up with that stuff anymore. I mean, 90% of it was bullshit.
Yeah.
But you still have to check it out. Yep. Even alien abduction, huh?
How is this? I mean, has this case had any effect on you? You were the first person there. I mean,
No, because I know what I did, and the records show that that's what I did. And so, no, I was never worried about me personally, but you know the department, the state police. Well, you're a bunch of idiots. You can't find this one girl? Well, sorry, yeah.
yeah. Has it affected the town up there at all? I mean,
No, I think you have some groups that say, well, Smith got her, was in the back of the cruiser. Nobody looked there. Or.
right.
And the other ones will say, no, he's a good guy. He would never do that. But basically, no. You know, it's just you're drawn away from doing real work while you're trying to follow up on psychic says she's buried right there. God, man, I love this
Right.
guy. So you dig up, and there's nothing there. So, not saying psychics can't do that. I am, okay?
Right.
In real life, I am. Not saying psychics can't do that, but and then you already said
Right.
right. Mm-hmm.
You know, you have this opportunity right now to say anything that you want to say to people watching this. Is there anything that you do want to say?
If they know anything, contact the cold case guys. And that's pretty much it because we've got a lot of information, but it hasn't gotten us very far yet, I don't think. So, yeah, if somebody knows something, just even if anonymous, send it in.
Since we brought up the psychics,
Oh, boy.
oh God, Alison Dubois, our favorite.
Oh, boy.
Wait, did you hear about this? So they're all just blah, 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 blah. Potential diet dump sites. They're talking about a whole nother thing. Okay. So now go down to art. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll ask you that question, Cecil. It's I mean, you're talking about a 50 square mile area for your police department, and I think you're the only town in that area that has a police department, right?
Full time
Yeah, full time.
until you get to Littleton. Or is it
Mm.
Littleton? Littleton. How do you say that one?
Littleton.
I said it right this time. Oh, God, I thought you had some weird, cool Boston sort of
No, you got to say it all together. Littleton. That's it.
Littleton. Okay.
Not
Uh,
like Littleton. That would be stupid.
to the north of, or Lebanon, Hanover, south, so yeah.
So I mean,
And Lincoln?
well, yeah, we've been to Lincoln. We've been up in that area. I mean, it's pretty rural in some of the
Yeah,
locations.
it is.
As you get out from the center of town, you know, there's a lot of sites up there where you could dump a body.
Right, and we ran down a lot of things. I mean, you talk about young kids and back roads
Mm.
at, we've been out to calls to pick up ladies' underwear. Like that's Maura's underwear, so, jeez.
Yeah.
Do
Do
you
you
think,
think that as you're driving through the area, like, I wonder if that's a spot. Do you ever does she pop into your head ever?
not as she used to, but right at this point, I just would like to know what happened. If she's on the beach in Cancun, or if she's under the snow somewhere, or I don't know.
That's good. Yeah. Very good. I don't know what's very good, but
Yeah.
so I do have a clarifying question. So it sounds like from speaking to Fred and Kathleen at the very beginning, it sounds like you got a pretty strong indication that Maura may have been despondent and done this to herself or done this a lot.
Right.
But Fred to this day is talking about the dirtbag who grabbed her.
Mm-hmm.
So you keep all the possibilities open, but can you elaborate on that a little bit? Just sort of, initially we thought it was a suicide, and that's when we got serious and we started to get more people involved in the search.
Mm-hmm.
But there were also other theories that may have happened to her, including, I mean, that was us, not them.
Mm-hmm.
And he was only on. Can we ask Chuck that? Yeah. So that was handed off to us, Cecil. We didn't have anything to do with that part of it. We did.
Oh, thank you. What is all
So,
this? I don't even know.
All right. Jeez. But we're asking Chuck Fred questions. We can ask that, and we can circle back to Fred on that. One other thing is, I don't know if just during my coughing fit I missed it, but when you were talking about the alcohol, the doors were locked, but you said there was a can, was it no bottle under the car? He said it was towed and he could see it. Yeah, we have that already. We got it. Okay. And he also was told at the scene she smelled of alcohol and was slurring her speech. Yes.
All right.
Right. You got that in too. Leaning and anything else?
Um, when do I come back in again?
Go down.
Oh, I thought so you read all that? I didn't seem like it. Huh.
No.
So I know, but I was just I don't think you read all that. But anyway, so say you have to talk to Fred about why he thought she was going to kill herself. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Did we go all? He went to all the neighbors' houses. Then I apologize. He said he.
Not that night.
Not that night?
Not no.
I thought you did go to the Westmans. Where's the girl? I got a question. Hopefully you know, and I can usually get the SOP as you go to who makes the 911 call.
Right.
And check with them first. And it sounds like you did that
Right.
here.
Mm-hmm.
There were 2 911 calls.
Right.
Faith Westman and Butch Atwood.
Correct.
And you talked to them both. Do you know, we've heard different things, but is it standard procedure where the 911 operator would keep somebody on the line until you responded?
Medical emergencies definitely would, yes.
Okay.
Something like this. I don't know. You have to refer to that one. I have to the dispatch office. I don't know, sir.
Okay. In my experience, they would know. Unless you guys have something else. No. Nope. That was everything, I think. Say anything that come up. He had everything. Yeah. Let's put it to bed. We appreciate you. And then blah, blah, blah. Okay,
Thank you,
great.
sir.
So that's the end of that. All the way down, it says, you know, the other thing too was when we interviewed Monaghan, he said he heard the dispatch talk to Faith Westman.
What page are you on? I don't have any idea where you went there.
Way down.
On the same page, though?
Page 30.
Oh,
They're talking to Faith. So you want to try and get through John's real quick?
Because
this is just them really chatting.
Okay.
This is not him anymore. This is just them chatting.
Yeah, we could try to do that. How long is his?
Let's see. They annoyed me.
38
he
pages.
speaks better. I don't know.
I can't. That was hard. Because it's hard, it's hard to do is sound like you're natural when you're reading just gibberish,
Yeah, because the way that they're speaking is just conversational. It's difficult for sure. Oh my God. Let's see.
Okay.
Well,
who's
it's about the same number of pages, but it looks like if we started on page 4, where Art says, I know you've talked to the AG's office and they've allowed you to talk to us.
Okay.
Right there. Was that page 4?
At the bottom of 4 or at the top?
Up.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
There it is. Okay.
So who's this guy then? He's a state police guy?
So you're John, and I'm basically everybody else.
And he's the state police, right?
He is the state police. I think he's a chief now, but yeah, he is the state trooper at the time. So,
and that's
I know you've talked to the. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that would be the guy that had it been a wreck 200 feet over here, would have probably they would have taken
right,
over
but
right
he
away.
reported there anyway, and he investigated it. So
yeah, okay.
I know you've talked to the AG's office, and they've allowed you to talk to us, which is fantastic because there's a lot of misconceptions out there, misinformation in print and on the internet concerning Maura Murray's disappearance. And what we're trying to do is clear up a lot of those misconceptions. We've actually attended the anniversary on February 9th, and they had a gathering on the 11th. We actually listened to about 70 people attend.
Wow.
Shocked at how many people are interested in this case.
Sure.
I think the main point here being there's a lot of misinformation about what law enforcement did that first night.
Yes, there is.
And I'm glad that's the reason we're here
and
got the opportunity to talk to you.
Sure.
Why don't you tell me about your background, Chief?
I've been a cop for almost 18 years. Started my career in Lebanon, New Hampshire. Did I say that right? New Hampshire. 1999. And I worked there for about 3 years before I went over to state police working for the Department of Safety. I worked there for about 10 years. And during that time, I went back to school, got a master's degree, and was interested in advancing my career. And I looked into promotions, and then the chief position started in Franconia. So I was pretty excited to go to work in a small town and be my own boss, so to speak. I answered to a board of selectmen, but
Right.
I took the opportunity to fill the spot, and I really enjoyed it. It's really nice.
How many years have you been the chief in Franconia?
About a little over 4 years now.
Franconia is, you said, a little town. It's a little bigger than a little town, isn't it?
It's 1,100 people.
Oh, I thought it was much bigger than that.
Because it's Franconia State Park, we get visitors. We have 3 to 5,000 people who come visit us on the weekends or during foliage season.
Oh, wow. I think we should just dive right in
Sure.
and go back to February 9th of 2004.
Sure.
And what was happening prior? I don't know if you heard the call. We know that Grafton County had dispatched.
They did. They did. So I was a patrol. I was a patrol five trooper. What does that mean? I was a patrol five trooper. Was my area, and that covered from Piermont all the way up to Lisbon, at the Middletown line. And so I was driving north on Route 302, and I was in Lisbon, right around the area of the wire mill. I was going to go meet up with my patrol partner, Brian Doyle, and right in that area, I heard a call come in for a car crash on Route 112, and they gave it in the area of what they call the Weather Barn, which is the sharp corner,
Right.
where eventually we were discovered the crashed.
Mm-hmm.
I knew my patrol area, and I know that the town line changes like 6 times, 5 or 6 times in that short span. So what I was thinking was Murphy's Law being Murphy's Law, there's no way it was going to be in Haverhill. So I should probably head to the scene because they have like 500 feet of the road there, and the rest is in state police territory. So I turned around and started to head back. And while I was headed there, I heard Cecil Smith call off that he arrived at the scene. And so I continued on. And because I heard there was also like a play-by-play that dispatch was telling him as we were both going to the area. And I could overhear Grafton County talking to him. And it was the caller saying, "Well, I don't see her anymore." They initially said there's a woman by the car, and then I think they said she's not there anymore. Or when Cecil got there, I don't really recall that part, said she's not here anymore, but I hadn't even hit Route 112 yet at that point.
So that's interesting. Okay.
So when I got to Route 112, as cars were coming towards me, there was only one. It was a Subaru, and I flashed my lights and flagged them down and spoke to the driver. And I said, "Hey, did you see a woman walking or hitchhiking? Did you pick anybody up?" And she said, "No." So I said, "Okay, thanks," and continued on my way. And when I got to the area, they could call Swiftwater. It's this little section of Bath.
Right.
I saw a woman, Wilma Robinson, walking, and I know Wilma because I had to deliver a death notification to her a year or two before that. So I rolled down my window and I said, "Wilma, how's it going?" And she said, "Good." And she had just finished working at the Swift Water store. So I said, "There was a car crash further up the road, and did you see anybody?" And she said, "No." I said, "Okay, if anybody comes knocking on your door or whatever, could you give us a call?" And she said yes, and I continued and went to the scene.
So that direction of travel is
I'm going west to east.
okay.
So when I got to the scene, I pulled up, and Cecil Smith was already there, and I saw the car crashed into the tree on the side of the road, and I rolled down my passenger side window and said, "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "I don't know, there's a box of wine in here, and it looks like she's been filling up a soda bottle with wine." And so I said, okay, do you need me to do anything? And he said, well, Butch, I believe Butch is the name of the bus driver who had said that he had stopped to check on her. His checking up in the mountain lake area. And I said, well, I'll look around and I'll check some of the back roads. So I did. I drove, and if you want the play-by-play I can give you, I reread the reports. So my path of travel, I turned around and went back towards Swiftwater. I took a right onto what's called Porter Road and checked this area called the Big Eddy. It's a parking lot. In the summertime, a lot of people swim there. And then I took what is the name of that road? I took, will you excuse me for a second?
No, absolutely. Whatever you need.
Can we cut and paste this? So I took Plains Road. So I went from Route 112. I took right on Porter Road and took a left on Plains Road and drove that route 302. So I was back where I had come from.
Mm-hmm.
And I drove that into the Woodsville. And you know what it might be kind of cool to do, just for the hell of it, is like put a map out, and then
there is one of this exact.
No, but I mean
route.
but you and me, like we take the map, and then we do an animation where we put the cars on the road and the timing, and have them moving around on it. I think that would be so much better for people to visualize.
Yeah, because now we know where Butch was too. He was up in the Mountain Lakes area. So now we know where Cecil was, John, and Butch.
Yeah, so it would be cool to take it all and then like have, Cecil's car pulling up, and then where is this guy, and he's driving around, and he does this, stops, talks to that lady, ding, ding, ding. And then just sort of put it all out there. I think it would be kind of an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah.
Maybe a video to put on here or something.
Because with all these roads and stuff, for people who are just listening, they're like, what the hell does this even mean?
Yeah,
but if you haven't been studying the case, then that's probably what it sounds like. Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I think even it sort of sounds like that, even if you have been. Because like I don't remember every road and every thing out there. But it'd be if you saw it from above, and you could actually have this little, cars moving around and where they were and where everybody was.
Yeah, and he's very detailed. I think he has a lot of integrity, this officer, and I believe the majority of what he was saying, that this is what he knows or what he remembers anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So
we're down at the bottom part here.
Mm-hmm.
For sort of this Mountain Lakes area, didn't see anyone. Didn't see any footprints. So at this point, I think the tow trucks had arrived. I think dispatch had dispatched 2 trucks by mistake. So I heard they were on the scene, so I just cleared. I left. About an hour later, I think I was over in Pike or Beckett's school helping Haverhill talk a suicide kid down off power lines. So, that was my night.
So there at the scene, you were only there for when you talked to Cecil.
Just briefly to kind of get his gist of what happened. I never got out of the car. I just rolled down the passenger side window and said, "Hey, what's up?" And he gave me the play-by-play. I wish he was here to tell you what he recalls of the conversation, but it wasn't more than a minute or two.
So you didn't see like the airbags deployed? Did you see
the
tailpipe issue?
No, I don't recall any of that.
And Cecil's car was pulled.
I'm not trying. I don't recall where he had parked. He was either in front or behind it, over on that side of the road. Yeah. Had
EMS shown up yet, or fire?
I don't even know if they went. I'm not sure about that.
Okay.
I don't think so. As far as I recall, it was just me talking to Cecil at the time, and then I turned around and checked the side of the roads.
Do you know, I know you said you went and checked side roads. You didn't see footprints. Do you know if Cecil checked the surrounding area for footprints and stuff?
I don't know if he did. Yeah.
Now, did Wilma, she worked at
I believe she had left her shift at the Shiftwater store.
Okay, so she worked.
And I was walking and was walking home.
And so she was walking.
She was walking towards me, so she was walking east to west.
Okay.
So I hadn't arrived at the Swiftwater Street. Is that supposed to be Swiftwater up there, not Shift?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Swiftwater.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I think she just wrote the word shift. I was like, wow, shift and shift water, right? And two.
Yeah, no, they've got some typos in here. Okay, all right. There's a lot of talk about.
What's that? Right? Is that where I am?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of follow-up.
Oh, you already said that's not. Basically, I'm not sure if I'm in the right spot. Okay, all right. There's a lot of talk about. And then you said, what's that, right? What page?
You're John, honey.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying what you said. And so, am I on the that night part or the inaudible?
Yeah, just go ahead.
That night.
Basically.
Okay. Basically, when I spoke with Cecil, it appeared that it was somebody was probably drunk that crashed their car. And in every case we've ever had before, and everyone we've had since, usually they just take off because they don't want to get caught for drunk driving, and then show up the next day with some sort of story about why they weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
See, that is, and that probably gave them tunnel vision a little bit.
I think it did.
Yeah.
I absolutely think it gave them tunnel vision. They were thinking she was a drunk driver and she walked off the scene, so they didn't really put a lot of effort into anything.
And that's the most logical thing, because that is what happens all the time.
Right, but it's freezing out. There's a foot of snow on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't you really going to go searching everywhere that you can and call out?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Say,
so
hey,
she did do
could
that.
Freeze out here.
Yeah, I mean, if she did do that, she's in danger. So wouldn't you put all the effort into go finding her?
That's why it doesn't make sense. They're like, oh, well, she was drunk, so okay, yeah, that's all the more reason for you to be really intensely searching, not just saying, oh, she'll be back tomorrow. Back from where?
Yeah. So I do recall going back to Haverhill PD a day or two later and saying, hey, did they ever show for their car? And he said no. And I was like, wow, that's really weird. So then a day or two after that is when my lieutenant called me, and he's like, hey, did you help Haverhill with a car crash? And I said, yeah. And he said, is there a report? I said, no. I did what we call the general service report.
Right.
Just assisted another department. And he said, well, I think we're going to need to pull a report on it and write a better narrative. So I did, and then it became what it is now.
What it is now.
A pretty sizable case.
When you talked to Cecil, did Cecil give an explanation as to, obviously there's some controversy about the rag and the tailpipe issue. Did you ever talk to Cecil about any?
No, not at all.
I didn't see that.
That's me.
Oh, that's you.
Ah, yay, everybody.
You got me finally. Look
Yes.
at that, huh?
I know. She's always, God, great, yay, but there we go.
You proud of yourself now, are you?
I'm really happy.
I know you
I didn't
are.
see that. I don't recall him. It's amazing how I feel blissful. Forget. You know what? Forget marijuana, everybody. Just get this situation right.
Get me to be wrong.
Oh my God.
It's the best feeling ever.
Oh, God.
So funny.
I don't recall him saying anything about that, but it's possible. I guess it's possible there was one. I just didn't spend enough time. I didn't get out of the car and look around, and that's the kind of thing to help him out. I don't know anything about it.
Did your patrol partner do any? Did you guys put out like an area bolo or something?
No, because it wasn't our call. We're just there.
It was Haverhill PD.
Yeah, it was Haverhill PD's call, so it had been 100 feet in the other direction. It would have been mine, but it wasn't. Yeah, it's
Right.
weird what a tragedy that is. Just that little thing.
I would much prefer for it to have been his investigation.
Might have made a whole difference, because that's the state police. They take things a little bit more serious. Sheriffs are sort of this weird autonomy thing. Actually, in this Jane Doe case I was just looking at, and It was a while ago. It was a serial killer killed this girl, but she hasn't been identified yet. But they caught the serial killer, and he mentioned this one girl that had a guitar and everything. But anyways, the sheriff in that town in New Mexico, he told me that, oh yeah, once the sheriff leaves, they just take all the files from cases and get rid of them somewhere. It's like,
Oh, that's
are you kidding me? I mean, and I go, why do they do that? And he goes, and this is the DA that I was talking to. He said, well, because they do a lot of shady shit and they don't want it to be seen. That's like, oh my God. It was unreal.
Wow.
It was unreal to hear that. It's like,
Wow.
So,
Imagine.
Yeah, it just makes you feel like, wow, these little sheriffs, they just kind of run the show. They're their
They
own
do.
little deal. And once they're gone,
It's unfortunate.
yeah, it's ridiculous. So anyways, where were we? So I didn't interfere with their investigation.
A neighbor supposedly said that they heard two officers arguing about jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
I don't, because I was actually glad not to have another case thrown on top of my caseload at the time. So I was like, good for me. I don't have to cover an accident. So what I do recall being told about is that 2 tow trucks got dispatched, and when they only needed one, and from what I understand, it was Lavoie's and Northland Auto, and the 2 tow truck drivers had a big argument about who was going to get the tow. That's the only argument I know about. If I don't know, I don't believe anybody else showed up that would have argued, but I was certainly not going to argue about whose jurisdiction it was whatsoever.
Yeah, I understand that.
Right, yeah.
So you were probably there a total of a minute, 2 minutes?
I'd say less than 5, 2 or 3 minutes tops, just talking through a window to Sergeant Smith.
And you didn't get out for an interview or any of the neighbors?
No, not that night. We did do a bunch of follow-up investigations, but that evening, no. Nobody was talked to, by me at least, other than my initial driving in.
And when did it move from Haverhill to the state police?
I don't know exactly when, but it was probably 2, 3, 4, 5 days later, somewhere in that time frame, that it became kind of a bigger deal than it was. So at that point, Lieutenant Scarinza became involved, and they got major crime involved, and the detectives from Troop F, and then it became kind of an investigation, not just me assisting Haverhill Police Department.
And that's usually, do you guys do that on general request from like the chief at the time to take over?
He would have, with any major incident, usually because the state police has more resources. A small town police department would ask for assistance from at least the local troop, and then the local troop, if they decided that it was a bigger than their investigative services could handle, they would contact Major Crimes down in Concord and ask them to come up and help out. They've got more resources with crime vans and that kind of thing if they need to start doing more high-tech investigation.
There's also been talk about a suspicious female hanging around at the Swiftwater weighing station at some point.
That doesn't ring a bell to me. I don't follow the people who have done the podcasts and the website stuff because there's so much bad information. God, man,
Thanks, John.
I love these guys.
Yeah, there is.
It's human nature to fill voids with whatever information you can. God, ding, 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 ding. It's where rumors and gossip all come from. So, and I read it, and occasionally, did you see you were mentioned here? And I looked, and I'd be like, jeez, I can't believe they just said that. I don't read it because it's not realistic, and it doesn't do anybody any good. So, and I actually think does a disservice probably to the family who's missing their daughter, that they have some bad information and it doesn't bring any peace to their lives.
One of the people that have put out probably some of the speculative information is an author by the name of James Renner. Here we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, James.
Did he ever call it?
Hey, he said it. We didn't say it. Did he ever talk to you?
He called me, and I can't recall if it was a trooper or if I had just started with state police, but he wanted to interview me, and I called the lieutenant at Troop F, who was Todd Landry, and said, "Listen, are we talking about the case yet, or are we keeping it quiet because it's an open investigation?" And he said that we're still keeping it, whatever was happening, quiet because it was an open investigation. So this is really the first time I've been able to openly talk about my piece, which is actually smaller than speculated.
Yeah, but it's important because
Yeah,
there's been a lot of
important.
speculation about what you supposedly did and didn't do that particular evening. So now you didn't walk Renner through like a blow by blow
No.
description of what you did. So basically,
No, I never. I said I'll talk to my lieutenant, and if I can talk to you, I'll talk to you. And I asked, and he said, "No." I said, "I'm sorry, but I can't talk to you about this." That was it. I never spoke to the man. I didn't read his book. I don't know if he said he spoke to me, but he, if he said he that, then he would be lying.
well, he said you walked him through.
Really? Yeah, well, not correct.
In fact, just the other day, yeah, it's posted yesterday. He said you walked him through.
Interesting.
He mentioned your name and said he spoke to you.
I've never met him. I've never spoken to him. I think it was an email exchange between he and I. I don't even know if it was a phone conversation.
Right.
How would he not know that, though? You know, I mean, like, I'm just throwing it in there. He says, "I don't even know if it was
Boy.
of a phone conversation." If you talk to somebody, you would know, right?
Right. I
Anyway.
mean, he had written the book already, so this could have been quite a while after that, but
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And then I'm not. I mean, I told him I'd be happy to if I can, but we weren't, so I didn't. That was it. I followed orders.
right, I understand that. I mean, I'm sure this case has been bubbling and steaming around here because it's amazing to me that just about everybody in this area, general area, knows about this case in one form or another. We've heard all kinds of weird stories about her car being 80 yards into the woods. There's even a theory out there about alien abduction. And then, it runs the gamut. I mean,
Just a second. I was too blown out on my screen. That's the thing.
what
Alien
do you think
abduction.
actually happened? What is your.
Yeah, right. It could be. I don't know. I hope he wasn't saying could be alien abduction. But I really don't know. I wish I. My hope amongst hopes is that we'll get a phone call in a year, in 10 years, and she'll say, "Hey, I'm in Cancun, married. I got 10 kids." I don't know, but I don't know what could have happened. I know if follow-up interviews, we interviewed people that would have been driving on the road. People I interviewed said we didn't see anybody. And so, I don't know. I really wish I had a better answer for that. So that it seems to me that either she got picked up and went somewhere, or ran off on her own somehow and some reason has not come back. And I don't know the answer to that question. I wish I did. I wish I did for the family's sake. I have kids of my own, and I can't imagine.
Right.
Let's see. Right. What it feels like to me to be missing somebody you love. I wish I should have
Do
just
you
stuck with
often
it.
think about this case?
Here, let me just read that part again. I wish I did for the family's sake. I have kids of my own, and I can't imagine what it feels like to be missing somebody you love. And then,
Do you often think about this case?
not very often. Just when you said that there was a memorial service the other day, and I could hear Haverhill on the radio, I think they were doing traffic control.
They were actually very helpful.
And I said, "Oh, it's the anniversary of Maura Murray." So the further away I get from it, as far as I'm not a state trooper, so I'm not tied into the investigation anymore, and the more distance that comes from it, I don't think about it as much, But every time I drive by that tree, I think about it for that kind of thing.
I'm not a male speaker. I don't even know what they're saying.
Uh, so one part of what I did in my follow-up investigation is I went to Haverhill DOT shed and spoke to Wayne Bigelow, who's the head guy, and his people. And I said, listen, there was this car crash, and the woman's missing, and it's been quite a while, and you guys plow that road, and you're up and down it all the time, and you're up high. So can you kind of, that's a smart idea. So can you kind of be my eyes for me? If you can see something that I can't see because I'm in a cruiser with snowbanks up to my eyeballs, give me a call and let me know. And they never called. And I would check in periodically and say, did you see anything weird or different? They never said that they did.
Was this shortly after?
It would have been pretty shortly after, probably within the first week or two when the detectives started to get involved with the case.
So it sounds like you probably got more snow up there after this particular incident, unlike now.
I don't recall, but we had the opposite this year, so...
Right. Was there any reason why the search wasn't more to the east?
No, that evening, you mean?
Yeah, that evening.
No.
It sounded like everybody came.
Yeah, we all came from the west to there.
The west.
And
so that is a good point, Gray.
Yeah, because it's like...
They all were coming... We all came from the west.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody, but she could have walked down that road and kept going east in the middle of the road, even in the middle of the road for a couple of minutes, and then broke off.
We need to look closely at the maps, because where they all went to search seemed like it was from the same area that everybody was coming from, and that was one of the big issues that everybody had, is that everybody came from the west to the east. So when they went to search, they went all back in the area they came from, which would make no sense because you would have already seen her.
Yeah, I mean, she could have went on like Bradley Hill Road. I mean, look how quickly, it would only take 2 or 3 minutes to walk and get on this road. And then in this area, look at that. I mean, that is a freaking nightmare. I don't care if it's shit how many people you put in there. That is absolutely, that's probably just like it is in the Summer Wells
Tennessee
bushes.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, right? It's just
I didn't even end up putting all the summer videos out because of all the drama.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, it is so overgrown. One of the YouTubers did go out with another neighbor, and he walked through all the back land back there. And it really shows what you're walking through. Yeah, you could be walking over 10 dead bodies and you'd never know.
Yeah, and there might be like a little hole or something. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, especially in the winter in this case.
Yeah,
and the trees
you'd never even know it.
The trees wouldn't be quite as full, but at the same time, there's just so many of them. But man, if she just walked right there around that curve, past Atwood's house, and just kind of cut off to get away, didn't want to be seen, if that scenario is true. I mean,
Kimmy P, who's been covering this since like the very beginning, said her dad's biggest question, why didn't they search east? And it's a great question. You all came from the west. You would have seen her, this random woman by herself on the road walking.
But so they didn't search this area here, though?
Not until much later. No. They searched everybody who went out that night, searched the same way they came in, which is truly baffling. It doesn't make any sense. You clearly would have seen her.
I mean,
why didn't you just go the other way?
I mean, look at this. I mean, just for the hell of it. I mean, there's no humans that really even live. I mean, this place, a couple houses here and there, but this is brutal. I mean, that is just, you get off just right there and I don't care how many searchers you have, you might miss them.
And why didn't they go door to door? I mean, the podcasters are asking them, so did you talk to all the neighbors? Oh, well, not that night. So they talked to the 2 people who made the 911 calls. Obviously, Maura had been drinking, allegedly. Why didn't you go knocking on every door there that night?
Yeah, but it's also weird if
not the next morning.
It's such a public case. Well, wouldn't somebody within 3 days go, oh my God, she came by my house? And it seems like that just would have happened, but they didn't ask. But at the same time,
well, you had some interesting characters along that road that we're going to get into. But if you think about it, You know, you've got a young girl, pretty young girl, as they've described her, perhaps drinking, crashed her car. You only search the way you've already come, where you saw nobody, and you don't ask the people who live on the road if they've seen this girl. You wait to do that. Nothing about that at all makes much sense.
Well, it's weird that they only searched west, but she was heading east. So naturally,
if she headed east,
like your car was already heading east. So why wouldn't you assume that if she got out of her car, she'd still be heading in that direction?
Of course, right?
Right.
I mean, it makes no sense to me at all.
Maybe they were confused because they just looked at I mean, they shouldn't have been.
Maybe they thought her car spun. Sure.
Yeah, the car is facing the other way, but they knew it hit and spun that way almost immediately.
Right.
So you'd have to know she was heading east. So
you had the EMS, the fire, John Monaghan, and Cecil, and Butch. So why wouldn't you organize the scene if you've got these people now and say, "Hey, I'm going to go up there. Can you go up there? And I'm going to go this way, and you go that." No, everybody went the same way. It just is bizarre. Yeah. It's bizarre. So
have to look at that more. So we right here on this one, and I think because Sergeant Smith was saying, well, Butch is checking up over in there. I said I'll check some of the back roads here, knowing that really that stretch of road back then I think there was like maybe 2 residents on it. The rest are kind of hunting camps. It's pretty barren. It's just didn't make any sense that she would head that direction. It made sense that you would go back to where you would come from. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't at all. Not probably perfect logic, 2020 hindsight, but at the time it was just seemed to me that you would head back to where there's more civilization. Well, that kind of makes sense.
No, not for a drunk girl who just crashed her car.
Yeah, I mean, if you use what they originally thought, you're not going to go back into town and be seen by I don't know.
No.
Rather than out in the
you
wilds.
Just came from there. He's saying that. We just came from there. So it made perfect logical sense that we'd go back to where there's more civilization. No, because allegedly she's drunk and crashed her car. And you just came from there, so no, she isn't there. So go the other way because she's about to go get lost where there aren't a lot of people. It just doesn't make sense how any of this was handled, which is why I think this is why this story has become so huge, because normal logical people on the internet are questioning the decisions that law enforcement made, that the man who reported it made. It seems like everybody is telling most
well, I guess
truth.
I guess the thing is though, I mean, that is what they did. That's what they thought.
It's what they did.
So the thing is, it doesn't really help finding her whatsoever. It's just like, wow, that's so dumb. That's about it. That's all you can get out of that. It doesn't. It's not like, wow, these guys are so nefarious because they went the other direction. I don't have any.
No,
of those
I
feelings.
just think it's a failure of the. You want to just say on the Haverhill PD, but then you realize, oh wait, well the state trooper, the fire, the EMS, the neighbor. Everybody kind of went in one direction.
He had the exact same pre-notions that, when you see a car like this in alcohol, they usually take, so he had the exact same thing that Cecil had.
But as a regular guy, who does these crime cases, you come upon that. And the neighbor standing outside and says to you, yeah, this drunk, really cute girl, she was drunk and she was just right here. And now she's gone. Are you going to think, just as a normal crime guy on YouTube, that she walked that way or the way that she was headed?
I would think, well, if I knew which way she was headed, if I was smart enough.
Well, you just drove in from the west.
Yeah, but if I knew which way she was headed, because the car spun around, and if you're not like savvy.
Right, but what if you were driving from the west? Just you as
Hughes. If you're just driving from the west, you'd go, well, I already came from the west, so let's go look east, because she wasn't
exactly what
walking on the side of the road.
Yeah, any normal person would think that. So
well, she's dodging in and out, trying to avoid cars, right? So
right. Anyway.
Yeah, all right. So,
it's 4:25. I've got to pick up the child.
Yeah, I don't know.
Soon.
I don't know. Maybe we could do the rest of this on another
maybe
one. Maybe
pause.
talk about
and you know what we can do? is put the map
14.
together.
Yeah,
If we pause this here and then work on the map, I can send you what I have for maps, and then you can do your animated part, and maybe we can come back on like Sunday.
Yeah, well, I was thinking,
If you'd have
maybe we
time.
could do some. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. It's like
To put it
that'd be
together
something where
that-
if we were together and we were like, okay, let's get this all, you know, like because you have different places where there's different timelines for different people, and then we could just sort of, at least if I
Yeah, we
had
could
it
probably
sitting
meet
there-
like an hour earlier. No, it would be.
Well, we
would
just
have
do
to,
it on a different day. Like, just do it.
Yeah,
And then at least if I have all the information, I can put it together.
I agree.
So we could do that.
So I'll send you what I have. Then we'll make a time to meet, and then we can do the live once you have time to put it together.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I think an interactive thing would be a lot easier than trying to explain it. It's
I
hard.
mean, we could do it like we could finish this too, and then come back and do the interactive map. Like tomorrow, we could just do this quickly. Do a 30
we can
minute.
definitely finish this
Bust
tomorrow.
this out.
Yeah.
Maybe talk about it for a couple minutes. Then we'll work on the map where it's actually motion and the timing of things.
Like you did with KJ's stuff
Yeah.
and Delphi's stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah.
It makes it a lot easier.
It's just going to be an
follow.
overhead thing, you know. Just have like a dot for, or maybe make a little vehicle and just kind of move around. But there you go. Cool.
I think so. Yeah, I've got to drive out.
So we're on
in
page
25 minutes. 15.
15. All right, we'll start on 15 again.
Yeah, the visuals are, Kimmy. I agree. They're so useful, especially with this one, because you're in the middle of the woods. You know,
Yeah.
when you're looking at it, you're like, why didn't they go over here? I mean, they didn't. That's the bottom line, right? But Kimmy, what do you think happened? You've been on this for so long. What do you think happened to her? Let's see if we can get Kimmy's answer before you go. Because I don't even know still. Even after all this research and reading, I'm like, where in the world could this girl be?
Yeah, she wouldn't go back. Yeah. That's it. That is strange. I didn't even realize that they never looked east at all.
Yeah, that was
That
her
night,
dad was
that night.
very upset.
Yeah, 'cause she could have just been walking down that road. So everybody came from the west anyway. They came from the west. Both
They all
both the state and the local
The tow
Haverhill-
truck drivers, everybody came from the west.
Oh man, so she could have literally been like when the cops got there, she could have been like right here. I
Easily.
mean, just walking around and nobody ever would have seen her. Because
It's so
I
frustrating.
mean, that road's probably not traveled much at all in the winter at night, you know, like evening time. But
Yeah, I mean, we see a few residences that way, you know? It's not like it's abandoned. It isn't.
yeah, like she could have walked up there. I guess they could have asked questions, but maybe you're not really looking out the window. I mean, we don't know because never asked, but that's also a hill there. I wonder if she wouldn't go up that.
So the dog picked up her scent going to Butch
Yeah.
Atwood's house.
That's his,
or
that's his house. And,
Right,
And the scent
yeah.
dropped off like right down here a little bit. Like
So what
that.
direction from the crash, what direction is that?
I think
Gray?
it's north. Yeah, so here's the crash right here.
Yep.
And then right, you know, like right in this
Is
area.
that east? Is that west, north?
Well, it's
or
nor-
isn't it kind of northeast?
Well, yeah, it's northeast. I mean, this is
It's
I have it
northeast.
set to north-south orientation here.
See? So it's northeast where her scent went.
Yeah, it's like this, and you know, this is east. This is everything. Every road out of there leads. Even this one right here is east, right? I mean, that one, whatever the hell that is, right? It looks like a trail of some sort, but
Yeah.
you know, there's these different things are east, and she could have been walking. You know,
So frustrating.
ducking in and out, and shit, how far could she have gone? You know, who knows? If that's the case, what did she answer? I think she got picked up by the wrong person. Yeah, well, that's possible. And it could have been even after she walked away. What if she walked east, and then somebody picked her up? I know her scent wore off in the middle of the road, so maybe that's where she got picked up. But
Yeah, I mean, if you sit back and think a little bit
Thanks,
of
Bama.
the people who are on the road, were there any bad people? Were there people who were making up stuff? all of that, which we need to get into, the people in the area. So we will. But I mean, we know they've all been checked out as much as we think they've been checked out. Who knows?
I mean, obviously they looked in this pond here.
No Debbie D, no footprints.
That's the whole that anybody saw, though.
Problem with this case. Yeah. Gray likes to say that anybody saw.
Yeah, well, because it's true, though, right? I mean, we can only go by what they're saying, but we don't know how.
We can only go by what the police told us.
Yeah, how, what do you call it?
And we can also say it did not snow the next day, but her family got up there, right? And her family walked in the snow and came back hours later. And there were footprints in the snow, but there weren't footprints from anybody else. So,
yeah.
And that's, it was something that really bothered them immensely. Yeah. It would bother me too. I would never give up.
That puts a monkey wrench into everything. If they're, it's like I always say, if you all of a sudden, if you say, you know what, we didn't really look very well for the footprints, then it opens up the door for other more seemingly likely angles that she wandered off and got like 3 or 4 miles away. Then something happened and then nobody found her. And then some, who the hell knows?
She could have easily walked up a road, hitchhiked, somebody picked her up. But, how many coincidences are there in true crime? Maybe a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
The murderer picks her up. The murderer picks her up.
I'm going to be talking about one tonight. It's this one guy. He dated 3 women over the years, and they all are missing. And it's like
they're all missing.
And he died in like 2000 and something. And there are 3 black women, and he's a black guy. He was like it's not a case that for some, obviously that's the reason it's probably not covered that much because it's really crazy. And all 3 are missing, and they've been doing all these different digs over the years. But it just, I don't know.
All 3 are missing. Imagine.
Yeah, jeez, all 3 3 different women have gone. 74, 81, and 87. 3 different people that he dated, all missing. There's no way that's coincidental.
No, it's not a coincidence.
But people might say, "Well, it's no." Listen, how many people how many people out there even know? Or how about this? Anybody out there know anybody that you dated that's missing? And then even if it is, it's like 1 in 1,000. And then to say that you have 3 ex-boyfriends that are missing, I'm going to go right to your. I'm going to call the police on you in like 2 seconds. All right. That's all
of course, that's crazy. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah. So weird. So in this case, the worst case scenario for ever having.
How do you even come across these cases, Gray? I can't.
I just stumbled upon it on this website.
You just trip over them sometimes, huh?
Yeah, it's really wild. I'm going to try to go over it later. I mean, it's just like, really.
All right.
But anyway, what was I going to say? The worst case scenario in the Maura Murray case is that she started walking away, and somebody picked her up. That's a nefarious, like a killer
monster,
and that'll never get solved if that's the case, because it would just be you'd have to find the body, and then how would that even lead to a person? Unless
more than anything, I want her
DNA
solved.
And it's
before anything, God forbid, ever happens with her dad. I just want them to find her.
You know what I hope, though? If there is a death in it, just like the Summer Wells case, I think the best answer would be that they're found, they had wandered away, and they died somewhere. And it would be weird because it would make all the people who spent so much time coming up with conspiracy theories and all these things go and take another look at how they think through things. Cause
maybe, but I don't think so.
It doesn't because it sells to do that. Like, look at the Dylan Rounds case right now. Wow.
Which is,
God, what a shit show.
It's funny that people will talk about certain people, and I'll tell you more about this the next time we talk. But today, it was alleged that I am just a person who's online to make money off Summer Wells, even though I don't cover Summer anymore. And collectively together, you and I decided, should we really play this on Dylan? Is that fair to the family?
Yeah.
We could have. We could have called Jim the PI. Could have had him on.
Oh, yeah.
All the things.
Woo, the PI train, everybody. It's like if you don't have him, if he's not on your show and you're covering this case, you're a loser. That's what it's almost
Loser.
like. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely
He was on my
not.
show 2 years ago and was totally wrong on a case. And then he dissed on Adventures with a Purpose, calling them hillbillies. And when I heard that, that's when I went, oh, man, this guy.
Yeah, like, no.
Are you kidding me? The Adventures with a Purpose, they just solved another one. They have 21 cases where they've dove in the water and actually solved missing person cases. This guy hasn't done shit compared to them.
No, the mentality that's out there right now is based around, unfortunately, sensationalism at any cost, whether it's the family, the child, the missing person. I will not be part of it.
Well, good.
I just won't. So.
All right. I wish I had the clap music play. Hey, what do you think of this sound? Grady Judd, you like him too. Listen to this sound effect.
Oh, God, with the Grady Judd.
Here, listen. He actually said this at a press conference. They were in the swamp, and they found a body, and they go, man, when we were in there.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
That's the greatest line in the world, man. There were mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. Anyways,
I do not want to meet those mosquitoes.
Anyway, I know you got to go, so.
I do. I got to go pick up the son. Even though Scott's home on a vacation day, I've got to drive out there to pick up the child. Gray, do you think that's fair?
Huh?
No, I don't think it's fair.
It's not fair. All right. I love you so much. I got to go bye.
See you guys later. Oh, thank you to... wait, hold on 1 second. Oops, I don't have the names in here because I got up on the wrong screen. But thanks for the people that did the super chats up above. I know that Bama Forever did one. There was two. Wait, there was one right there. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of chat. So let's see. Emily Flotilla, and let's see. Oh, and then also Christina, and then I think we had a couple new channel members. I thought I saw that anyway. So yeah, if you're not a channel member, consider being one. You can be part of the So Mean family. All right, so there you go, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, be safe out there. And she always says, love you so much, like she said. All right, see you later. Bye-bye. Yeah!
It's a house!
Five brain cells, 4 aren't working.